Konbanwa. I'm Cyber Kunoichi Usagi.
I'm Hisui, a cute boxer with cool cyborg arms.
Today, we're diving into the eerie world of Japanese creepypastas.
Wait, is this gonna be another scary one? Fine, I'll listen. But keep it chill, okay? No super creepy details, please.
1. One man hide and seek. To understand the darkness of the modern world, one must look at the rituals we create. One man hide and seek is perhaps the most notorious. It is a form of necromancy, using a doll as a vessel for a restless soul. Let me tell you how it's done, and how it inevitably goes wrong. First, the preparation. You take a stuffed doll, remove its innards, and fill it with rice, representing the human spirit. Then, you add a piece of yourself, usually a fingernail or a strand of hair, and sew it shut with red thread, symbolizing blood vessels. At 3 a.m., you give the doll a name, but never your own, and tell it. First, name is it. You stab it with a needle and hide. It sounds like a child's game, but you are effectively inviting a curse into your sanctuary. The witness I spoke of, he hid in his closet. A cramped, suffocating space filled with the smell of old clothes. He sat there in the dark, clutching a glass of salt water, his only lifeline. To end the ritual, you must find the doll, spit the salt water onto it, and shout, "I win!" But the salt water is more than a tool. It's a barrier between your life and the spirit's malice. You must keep it in your mouth, never swallowing, never speaking. As the air around you grows unnaturally cold, he huddled in that closet, heart hammering against his ribs. When he heard it, Zuzu, Zuzu. The doll was dragging itself across the floorboards. Then, a sharp thump against the closet door. It didn't open. Instead, he heard a muffled scratching sound, and a voice not human, but a mockery of one, whispering right through the wood. "I found you. Now it's your turn." He was paralyzed. The salt water felt like lead in his mouth. He realized the terrifying truth. The doll wasn't looking for him to play. It was looking for a new, warmer vessel. When he finally mustered the courage to burst out and end the game, the doll was gone. It was found hours later in a place he never expected, tucked under his own bed, waiting. Even now, he never sleeps without the lights on, because once you open that door, the game never truly ends. The ritual is never as simple as the instructions say. If you scour the old archives of the dark corners of horror blogs, you'll find that the spirit doesn't always follow the rules. It adapts, it evolves, it finds new ways to break you.
Ugh, here we go. So you're saying it's not just about a creepy doll and some rice? There are DLC versions of this nightmare?
You could call it that. Let's look at the electronic interference pattern. Some practitioners leave the TV on, tuned to static. They've reported seeing a silhouette moving inside the screen, a small, jerky figure walking through a distorted version of their own living room. It's like a digital ghost, watching you from a space that shouldn't exist.
Okay, that's literally the Ring vibe. My arm would probably glitch out just being near that.
Then there's the physical escalation. This is for the thrill seekers who lose control. In these accounts, the doll doesn't just hide, it hunts. People have found the doll right outside their closet door, not with the toothpick they gave it, but with a kitchen knife it dragged from the counter. There's one story where the user felt the doll breathing through the keyhole of the bathroom door. A wet, raspy sound.
Wait, a doll dragging a kitchen knife? That's not a ghost. That's a straight-up slasher movie.
But the most tragic ones are the collateral damage stories. Imagine you're in the middle of the ritual, salt water in your mouth, heart racing, and your roommate or mother walks in. They see this grotesque, red-threaded doll and touch it out of curiosity. The ritual breaks, but the malice doesn't vanish. It latches onto the newcomer. High fevers, sudden personality shifts, a feeling of being watched that never goes away for the innocent witness.
Ruining someone else's life because they just wanted to clean the room? That's why I don't do occult stuff. It's too messy.
And finally, the lingering residue. Even after the doll is burned or buried, the game continues. Users report finding charred rice in their shoes weeks later, or hearing the name they gave the doll whispered in their ear right before they fall asleep. The ritual is a door, and sometimes, once a door is opened, the hinges are too broken to ever close again.
Geez, talk about a game over that stays on your hard drive forever.
Well, if you're done shivering, let's open the next closet of horrors. 2. The Extra Shadow. This is a story a man posted on the internet. This happened back in high school. I was working at a Japanese restaurant, and most of my co-workers were bikers. We'd gather in the dead of night, cars and bikes tearing through the dark, test of courage, fireworks, just the typical restless youth. Among them, 4 of us, all riding 400cc bikes, started frequenting the mountain passes together. It was the height of summer when we decided to head to Shimaru Pass. We knew the roads well, so it was just another way to kill time. But that day we chose a path we'd never taken before, the old road. It was narrow, winding, and we navigated it with caution. At the summit, we smoked, traded mindless jokes, and then turned back. My memory of what followed is strangely thin. I haven't forgotten it entirely, but it's distorted. I just remember the unbearable heat, a throat-burning thirst, and the sight of my friend's back as we rode in a silent, single-file line. Suddenly, the lead bike pulled into a white gravel, clearing on the opposite side of the road. No one questioned it. We all followed. There were no vending machines, no shade. When we asked why we'd stopped, the leader simply said, "Let's get in the river." Beyond the gravel, a slope led down to a stream. In the shadows of the mountains, we saw massive boulders. Unable to withstand the heat any longer, we scrambled down the slope. On the way, we passed a small field. Colourful vegetables were planted there, and in the centre sat an old man. I remember a farming tool resting on his shoulder. We bowed and asked to cross his field to reach the water. He didn't say a word, he just nodded with a serene, peaceful face. We stripped off our clothes on a large rock and dove in. The water was unnervingly cold for midsummer, chilling our flushed skin instantly. We splashed each other, dived deep, and some even drank the water because it looked so pure. That's when I noticed something was wrong with one of us. His face was deathly pale. His teeth were chattering so hard they made a sound. "Cold, it's so cold," he kept repeating, as if he'd been thrown into a frozen river in the dead of winter. It looked bad. We decided to get out. One friend, who hadn't entered the water, took a photo of us from the rock as a souvenir. Then, we just went home. A few days later, I was looking at the developed photos when my hand stopped. It was the photo taken in the river. In the center was the shivering friend, with me and another guy on either side. But behind the shivering friend, another silhouette was layered over his body. The shoulders were unnaturally broad. From the waist down, you could see legs. Because of the overlap, it looked like my friend had 3 legs. It was on his right side, disturbed. I told him about the photo, but he just laughed it off. Sometime later, that friend went back to Shomaru Pass, alone. No one had heard why he didn't invite anyone, but every time I look at that photo, I can't help but wonder, was he really the only one shivering in that water? And who exactly was it that he went back to meet?
Seriously. Senpai, my cybernetic arms. It's been feeling weirdly cold for a while now. Look, they definitely brought something back with them, didn't they?
Some secrets are better left buried in the digital void, but now that you've heard them, they belong to you too. That's it for today's video. Oyasumi nasai.